Whenever we think about 3D in Geometry Dash, it's usually associated with 3D shapes, parallaxing, or straight up their dimension. And these are all great ways of making the game appear 3D, but there's one way I've never seen done before: creating a Geometry Dash level as an anaglyph. Now, what is an anaglyph? To answer this, we first need to know how our eyes work with our brain. Our two eyes see slightly different angles, and the brain uses this difference to determine depth. Anaglyphs simulate this by using two offset perspectives filtered through color. And to see this effect work, you need one of those old school retro 3D glasses. Red for the left eye and cyan for the right eye. The red lens blocks the red part of the image and lets only the cyan through to the left eye. The cyan lens does the opposite. It blocks cyan and lets red through the right eye. With the two perspectives together, we get ourselves a stereoscopic illusion. This is what makes the image look like it's in 3D. Now we know what an anaglyph is and how it works, but how do we make one? Let alone make one in Geometry Dash. I will start by taking an image, making a copy of that image on a different layer, make one image only cyan in the color channel, and the other image only red in the color channel. Then set the blending mode to difference and slightly offset one of the images to create the anaglyph. This is cool and all, but last time I checked, there is no blending mode for differences in Geometry Dash, just additive blending. This means that if we take pure red and mix it with pure cyan, we're just gonna get white. So this is where I stumble upon my first obstacle. The effect isn't convincing enough to have the 3D effect I was looking for. Yes, the effect works, but it's flat. I want it to have depth. I want other parts to pop, but I don't understand how. We know how an anaglyph works, and we know how to make one, but why doesn't it look like these other images? We need a way to simulate this effect and interact with it to better understand it. Welcome to Minecraft Java 1.12.2, the last version of Minecraft to include a dedicated anaglyph mode in the settings. Now, when I tried this for the first time, I was impressed. It's almost like playing with a VR headset, and not only is the effect well done, it's not visually fatiguing. And with Minecraft being a 3D game, I can now see how I can layer the Geometry Dash level to fit this effect better. However, this is really starting to become a challenge. So red is left, but it has a white background, making red background way. Yeah, this is really getting a bit complicated. And honestly, I'm starting to doubt myself. Because not only is this a unique niche idea that nobody talks about, I'm also not the greatest in the editor, so I'm truly pushing myself here. Maybe I'll come back to this later with a fresh mind. Whoa, this script is a year old. I definitely took my time, and now I'm back, but this time I got a game plan. So a year ago I made this level using the anaglyph effect, but coming back to it, it's pretty bad, so I'm just gonna go and make a new level. Before I start with the effects, I gotta make the layout. Over the last year I have improved in the editor, so this layout should play a lot better than the original level, and also look a lot better. Talking about looks, I have to improvise. We can't use different colors other than a monochromatic grayscale because it takes away from the effect. Now, the biggest understandings I came across while messing with the anaglyphs is that the effect only applies horizontally, not vertically. Also, the separation of the red and cyan determines how much depth the effect has. But you don't want too much because it'll cause double visioning, which will ruin the effect. If the red is on the left, then the image sinks. If the red is on the right, then the image pops. Depth layering is achieved by making certain parts of the image have different separation. So the background will have red on the left, and the split from the cyan will determine how much sink it has, while objects in the foreground will have red on the right, and the more split the cyan is from the red, the more it will pop. Objects in the middle ground you want little to no red or cyan because this is your medium. When making this in Geometry Dash, you want to follow these rules as much as possible. Otherwise, it will cause eye strain or motion sickness if done incorrectly. Trust me, Making this was quite literally a headache. Now, there may be better ways of doing this, but the best way I found to make this effect is to build the structure you want in white. Then take that structure and make it blending cyan. Then copy the structure and make that copy blending red. And depending on which side has red or cyan, will determine if the effect pops or sinks. Now, if you know the editor, you might ask yourself, why would I do all that when I can use a chromatic aberration effect built into the game? You can, but the shader breaks the effect because it adds green, blue, magenta, and yellow when all you need is red and cyan. Now that we know how to make the effect, how do we apply it? It is kinda limited on what all you can do with it, but you can do things like adding a parallax effect to it to complement the depth, or use it in a masking effect, or just apply it to everything. Just make sure not to overdo it, otherwise your screen will look like a flashbang went off. The level is now finished and it took me about a week to make, after letting the idea sit for over a year. I'm glad that I threw out the old level because this one is way better than whatever trash I was stewing up before. But now it's time to grab your 3D glasses because here is the level I made as a 3D anaglyph. This is kinda niche and I don't expect people to build like this. In fact, I believe I'm the only one who has. I am not a savant at making levels or using the editor, but it would be really cool to see what creators could come up with if they try to build something with this effect. Otherwise, I'm just glad I could call this old project finished and move on to something different. This is all I have to show for this level. The level ID is in the description if you want to check it out for yourself. Please share this video or subscribe if you found this video interesting. And I'll see y'all later.